I mean, Apple has their big thing next month.
I have an iPhone 13.
Wow.
My phone's kind of cracked now.
Very frugal.
It feels tired.
Think about that. You waited 3 versions, right?
Yeah. It's too expensive.
I mean, what, you can put that on the company. You have, how much money have you raised?
There's nothing I spend more time on than my phone. 9 hours a day.
The fact that you don't
So you should be buying every new phone.
I should be buying every new phone. It's stupid not to. The problem is the features of these new phones are not enough for me to like make the effort.
It's really the hassle of switching over.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, group chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
That was actually a real what's up, not a pod what's up.
All right, we're recording now. What's up, guys?
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Happy hump day.
Did you get another round in?
Well, not during the week. It's a weekend only, activity.
Hobby.
Yeah.
Did you reflect on your score or no?
Well, I don't know if reflect is the right word as much as, just wonder why I'm spending so much time and money on something I'm getting worse at.
Yeah. I know it's a tough sport.
It seems like a universal feeling. It seems like, Rory's having the same problems.
There's a quote that a friend of mine said, you never leave a golf round happy. You only leave mad.
Yeah, it's kind of true.
It's just like, why are we doing this?
It's like a sick addiction. Because you want to know what happens is it gives you like a couple moments every round where you feel like you're about to be really, really good. Like you'll hit one shot or two shots that are like crazy and you're like, oh my God, that could be the new me. But yeah, it's brutal. It's been a rough week. I got some rounds planned for the weekend. Nothing on Sunday.
Where are you playing?
Are we recording Sunday because of Labor Day or what are we doing?
We're both out Sunday.
So Monday night.
Monday night we can do.
Yeah, I can do that. So I'm playing at Mountain Gate, which is the huge, kinda. And then there's a chance of I might do a little Trump session.
As you should. Given the last podcast.
You mean the last 5? Yeah, so we'll see. But yeah, I'm going to go back to the torture,
So when you shoot poorly, do you get motivated to play better or do you just like, I want to give up?
I want to give up.
Yeah.
When I shoot I get motivated to keep playing. Because, look, it's a game. There's no other game that we play that you play for 4 hours. So like it's such a marathon. So like but what you expect is that because you're just slowly getting better, that should average out over 4 hours of like, a couple shots better than what you were. And when you have those type of experiences, you're like, oh yeah, fuck yeah. I know the couple mistakes I made. I could clean that up next time and I would have had this score. But when you play bad, you're like, what the fuck? That was 4 hours. And I suck.
Yeah.
Look, on one hand, I would highly recommend it for everyone to get into. And on the other hand, I'd say stay far away. I don't know. I'll let you know over the course of a couple years.
So it's easy. You can spend the whole weekend doing it.
It's great. Yeah, I also have like a couple of trips planned. There's a couple, it has made me definitely more social. I hang out with people I wouldn't hang out with otherwise. It's great. Sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would equate it to similarly to fantasy football.
Right. I don't. That's the other thing about me is I don't partake in that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like everyone right now, it's fantasy football time. Everyone's getting their leagues together. They've got one over at the gym that I go to. I know we used to do them in the office. Yeah. Everyone's getting amped up. I don't get to partake in that. Are you guys a part of some leagues? I know you have a group chat on and.
So I've done 2 drafts. I'm only in 2 leagues. So I did 1 draft right after the Sunday Night Pod. And then D and I did a draft last night at the Delilah private dining room with a live auctioneer.
Yeah, so it was live.
That was very different than any draft I've ever
literally
done.
no computer. Like someone goes out and you nominate a player. Everyone has an order, and when your order comes, you pick a player and you bid on the player. You say, "Oh, Patrick Mahomes, $5," and then
everyone's
screaming prices on bidding up the price, and then you win, and then they live deduct how much money you spent from your allotment of $200, and then you go until you fill your roster. And
is the $200 the pool?
No, $200 is what your auction draft is.
Yeah.
Right. Where does that money go?
No, that's just like basically kind of a place card. But then our dues are different. Yeah.
Right. So your salary cap is $200.
D finally paid me. Took him 12 months.
Well, I mean,
year?
I didn't want to pay because Anthony, who's a sore fucking loser, didn't pay me.
See, I missed this.
What does that have to do with me?
I don't get to do this.
Why am I not getting paid? Paid. You got paid. I paid you. He did not pay me.
You paid me the day of the draft.
I paid though. That's different. Other people
Does Anthony
have
owe
not
you from
paid.
last year? From a year ago?
2 years ago.
Damn. What type of amounts are we talking? Can you say? Or it's not that much, right?
Yeah, it's like $1,500.
Yeah.
It's real
What's
money.
Anthony doing?
Yeah. I'm like shockingly unbelievable at fantasy football.
How do you feel
always
about
get
your
the-
roster?
I always get rated the worst team. I'm a gambler.
But you do well.
My team really pulls it together when it counts.
So look, maybe there's some listeners that are like me. Just a real quick, like you do a draft. Obviously so 2 people can't have the same player.
Correct.
And then your team is made up of the stats of your players, right?
Right.
And it's whoever performs the best.
Yes.
Right.
Touchdowns is all that matters.
So when you guys are watching football now every week, you're watching especially your players and how they're doing.
Yeah, it's really fun because you get I would say like for the first 4 to 5 weeks, the entire league is very invested because everyone has a shot the first 4 or 5 weeks. So it's really fun. By like week 7 or 8, you kind of know if you're going to make the playoffs or not. And if it doesn't feel like you're making it, you definitely get disinterested unless you're like, there's leagues that you can win money every week, which is really nice. Or in our case, it's just the winner gets all of it. So unfortunately, like you lose engagement as the season goes on because there's no reason to be engaged, right. Which I think that part kind of sucks in our league because it is fun when you have a reason to pay attention. Everyone's paying attention till the end.
So there's a sports bar that closed called Goal on 3rd Street by us.
Yeah. A close?
And yeah, it's closed. COVID shit, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And pre-COVID, that was like, and pre-kids, to be honest, because post-kids, I couldn't do it. But pre-kids, that's where I would go to watch Sunday football.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw after, like D said, week 6 and 7, it was much easier to get like a booth or a table because people lost interest.
That's funny.
So I think it like actually impacts, all the sports bars because everyone's engaged early on and then they realize they have no shot and it's a wrap. And I saw that like firsthand.
Think about the amount of money, not only the amount of money that people spend gambling on these things, but like you're saying, how it affects sports bar traffic and alcohol sales and like the total cost of fantasy football must be insane.
Well, I mean, so I think now fantasy football in America is an $11 billion industry. Like, think about it like this.
How do they structure that? Like, meaning, how do they?
I mean, I think
about
it's
it as
like
11
basically
billion.
think about how many fees are paid to all the platforms to manage your fantasy football.
It's separate from the fees we're paying.
So that's not the
The
money in our
gambling
leagues.
piece, nobody knows, right? You can't quantify that anywhere.
it's 100
You could look
billion.
at you could look at credit card data and see how many people signed up for Yahoo, ESPN, CBS Sports, Sleeper, DraftKings, FanDuel, because those are all included in fantasy sports, right? Like if you are like picking a bunch of players on a Saturday or Sunday, that's considered fantasy.
No, I agree. I think the number is way bigger. Is what
So
I'm
that's
saying.
just a tiny
They're
fraction.
actually saying it's 20 billion right now.
Oh, it's 20 billion.
But
Gone up
if you're
since
just
I
talking
last-
about fees, that's nothing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
nothing because like our league,
I
1,500 times 10 people.
yeah.
What'd you used to do in the
And we're
office?
just-
What was everyone's buy-in in the
That
reckless
was
office?
that was little. It was like
$20.
$20 or something.
But how many people?
I don't remember, but I would say the average fantasy football league, if I were to guess, the entrant is $50.
50 max 100.
Yeah, I would say
So
that's
it's between that band.
Yeah,
Like 20 billion in fees. If that's the fees of just these little things, it's 200 billion.
And
Yeah.
they don't take the vig on our fees, right?
Yeah.
We're
Right.
like and I know celebrity leagues that are 10,000 buy-in.
Right. And then you tie in bar
non-celebrity leagues
traffic,
that are 10,000 buy-in.
bar traffic, alcohol sales.
Oh yeah, and just
Nachos.
think about it like this. It was funny because if you looked at, there's obviously in our league now a lot of people with kids, and people are like betting on players. Like I'm betting on the Caleb Williams or a Bears receiver because of my kids, or I'm betting on any Chiefs player because of my kids. It's like. And then what happens? Then your kid buys the jersey, and then you watch the game, and then maybe you go to a game. It may be $1 trillion.
Right.
To be honest, so just talking about football and how much America loves football. So the first football game, week 0, Florida State, Georgia Tech. Not a big matchup.
No.
5 million viewers, up 33% year over year of the week 0 game.
The complete irrelevant.
Wow.
Like a game that doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah. And by the way, the game was in Dublin.
It was in Ireland, correct?
It's mind blowing. It's really mind blowing.
And the more interesting thing, that the new added element of money that got added to the NFL is that NFL is now allowing private equity to buy up to 10% of teams.
Yep.
That is going to drive the valuation of these teams.
Right.
Today it's 10%. Tomorrow it's 50.
Well, they have to because the valuations are too high.
No one has the money.
No one has the money. If you think about, so if you just want to kind of quantify the whole thing, it's basically like, what are media companies willing to pay for? And that drives the value.
Yeah.
And everyone's paying 2-3 billion
Way more.
to carry one game a week
Yeah.
for
I just
17
feel-
weeks.
So tell me if this is valid or not. I feel like it's so much cooler without private equity. Like just these titans of,
I agree with that. Like Jerry Jones, even though the
Right.
Cowboys haven't won in 27 years, a Super Bowl, I believe, that he's just such a personality
right.
and he's such a marketer,
right.
and he's just able to be like, I'm going to do whatever the
So if it's only
Whatever I want.
individuals that can buy teams, let me tell you the names of the team owners in the future. Sheikh
Yeah.
Mohammed, Sheikh
Right.
Abdul.
right.
That's
Is it really, is
that's
that the
gonna
thing?
be
Because like how much did Jerry Jones buy the Cowboys for?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Millions
Right.
of dollars.
Is that the
Millions.
problem? It's just gotten too expensive.
I mean, he's a $10 billion franchise. How many people can buy it for $10 billion?
Right.
10
It's just-
billion.
yeah, I guess that era is just
Think
over.
about it. Like, imagine in VC having a $10 billion outcome. You're like the greatest investor ever.
Yeah. And think about the NFL wanted individuals. So it's separate from then VC. It's an individual that can pay $10 billion.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like, the amount of wealth that has been created in NFL
right.
it's the best investment in the last fucking decade.
Right.
What's better? Well, how much were these teams worth 10 years ago? Less than $1 billion.
So I can remember in 2008, don't need to say the names, the Steelers were a $400 million franchise.
And they're worth 8 at least now.
I would guess 8 billion.
If Cowboys
That's
are 10, Steelers are 8.
crazy.
They're 20x.
That's
How many
crazy.
investments have 20x?
With cash flow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're getting dividends.
Yeah.
They're getting a dividend too.
That's crazy. So you're right. It's just too expensive now. You have to let these people, you have to do it differently.
If the owners want to exit, that's the only way. Because no one else can buy it. If you think about the Broncos sold for what, 5.5, I think. Is that right? 5.5 billion.
The other thing is, why would you ever sell? I mean, now you're locked into like American wealth for your family forever.
Yeah. And you get to put all your personal expenses against the team.
Really?
Yeah. That's like a little dirty secret that I've learned. So you get to put all your private jets, all your personal expenses, your houses, everything you put on the P&L. And no one gets to audit it. No one gets to see it. And then the value just keeps going up and up and up. And then you get the cash flow annually. And the value just keeps going up.
I mean, imagine, I'm thinking of the people that we all know that are part owners in an NFL team. And think about years and years ago, decades ago. I mean, I'm guessing it was obviously very smart financial. I'm sure they did a lot of looking, but you're like, I think we should do this. Maybe it felt a little risky at the time. Maybe the financial advisors were like, we don't know. And it just, you struck oil. It's like forever you will be filthy rich.
Yes. I think the NFL is.
And by the way, you should
oil.
never sell. I don't know why anyone would sell unless your family is just like, we're just done with this and we want the liquidity. Like, okay, look, I get it. You get a $10 billion lump sum. You're generational. Everyone's good, right? But these people are getting cash flow. Who gives a fuck?
Right.
And they're putting their whole life on the team.
Yeah, why not? I would too. That's my.
No, I'm not saying what. I'm just saying that's what they do. That's the argument that players have why they get minimized on their contracts, because they're like, we know you guys. So
they need the money.
Here's the thing. So I can tell this firsthand from Major League Baseball. Players get really mad because they know the owners are putting their entire lifestyle, their family, everything on the league.
Yeah, well, you're allowed to do that if you're
allowed to do it. But then they pretend that they're losing money.
Yeah.
It's like you already made the money.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you don't want to pay the players.
But that's everyone who runs a business.
I understand.
So,
but
I mean,
I'm just saying,
but by the
that's
way-
like the other trick that these owners have. I'm not saying what's right or wrong. All I'm saying is this is
I don't
what's
have
happening.
a problem with that. And I think despite that players want more money and maybe they can make the argument they deserve more money, they're making a fuckload of money.
Yeah, I listened to a podcast, Ryan Russillo, who actually shouted out Anthony on his podcast.
Did he? Why? Because he doesn't pay his bills on
He's like,
fantasy?
hey, Anthony, this guy Anthony
this
owes me
fucking
$1,500.
dirtbag.
He actually referenced a trip that Anthony and I took to San Sebastian. He didn't mention me, but he mentioned Anthony. Anyways, Ryan Russillo had a podcast. It was like ranking all the quarterbacks. The top 20 quarterbacks all have 200 million plus contracts.
Right.
That's
I just
insane.
Can't believe what a money
Like
machine.
you're like a shitty quarterback and you make 200 million.
right.
Yeah.
Like
It's
your
just
team's
such a
not going to
cash
make
machine.
the playoffs. What is it, like 16 teams make the playoffs?
Yeah.
So the last 4 that are making 200 million don't even make the playoffs?
Yeah, but this is America.
Right.
That's all that matters. It's America.
No, it's because the franchise values are so high and the media rights, so the players have to get paid.
But here's like here's the thing. The reason why like which we're all agreeing is I would argue that NFL teams are undervalued, in my opinion. Why do you think private equity? I know someone that was involved with one of the more recent transactions, and he's like a private equity analyst, but it's family money that invested in it. And he was like, these teams are fucking undervalued. He's like, because their price tag that they paid was absurd. And I'm like, how did you rationalize this? And he's like, dude, the cash flow that these businesses do, if you compare it to what's out there in the market where you can deploy this kind of money, it's really, really hard. And he's like, can you make the argument that in 10 years, the team value is going to go down?
No. Football is bigger
Plus,
than
you have
ever.
like a brand that will forever be relevant. And it's like owning a city. It's the closest you can have to owning like Denver.
Yeah.
It's funny. I always reference this because I watch it every morning. On Pat McAfee, AJ Hawk goes, look at every Saturday and Sunday during the day. How many people are just out and about not watching football? This is how many viewers we can get.
Right. Yeah, I'm that guy.
Yeah.
I'm golfing.
I mean, I
think college football is so undervalued. I think the NFL,
well, it's
we know,
nonprofit. There's no, it's a problem.
But I'm saying the interest in college football.
The shocking thing about college football to me, and by the way, if from an advertiser standpoint,
why did you watch Florida State, Georgia Tech?
I was like a crackhead.
He's just fiending. Yeah,
I was a crackhead, and I was
you
like,
have no allegiance to either team.
I was rooting for fucking Georgia Tech though.
Yeah, but you know no players, and you
Zero.
still watch.
How long's it been? 8 months? 7 months?
I was. What are you talking about? I was watching a high school football game on TV the other day.
Oh, you're
high
a
school,
crackhead.
St. John Bosco versus Chaminade, California, Florida Classic, and I watched the entire second half. Yeah. And these kids are horrible.
You know what's undervalued? High school football.
Yes, I think that the fascinating business case why college, in my opinion, is even more undervalued. Who watches college football? Predominantly people that went to college, right? What percentage of viewership of college went to college?
I'd actually counter that because I think I know a lot of people that you hear about that root for Notre Dame that never went to Notre Dame.
That's fine, but they did go to college.
I'll tell you where I'm from. My whole family loves Ohio State, and most of them didn't go to college.
Okay, that's fine. I think in Ohio State and Michigan, that's like a different thing. The two things. One, no matter the team in college, there are blind idiot loyalists that will watch every game, listen to every talk show, and buy clothes every year. I'm one of those idiots when it comes to USC.
Yep.
Yeah.
I ordered gear.
You have gear for the weekend?
I bought t-shirt and hoodie for the weekend. My kids got gear. We're going to go to Las Vegas, spend a long weekend there and watch our team lose.
Never know. We're 4.5 point dogs.
That means people think we're going to lose.
Georgia Tech was a 10-point dog.
I just don't have confidence in it.
Do you guys suck this year?
Yeah, we're going to suck a fat one.
Right.
Yeah, but it's fine. And by the way, I'll still watch every game and I'll be angry, pissed, and engaged. And I think from an advertiser standpoint, what else has this kind of fucking loyalty? So sports broadly has this loyalty. And then college, you could just do the math. Okay, the school's been around fucking probably at
100
least
years.
Yeah, 100 years. Think about how many kids have graduated, how many people are associated. Like if USC, my entire family now watches USC, buys USC, supports USC. Our mom, USC. My wife's parents, USC. They had season tickets.
And we buy our kids USC
That's
jerseys
what I'm saying.
too.
It's just you have this like crazy obsession.
Right.
And a very high income audience, because most of the people that follow this shit actually went to college, and there's an income disparity with people who went to college and didn't. And it's insane.
And
if I was college, colleges should start spinning out the team as a for-profit business. Like if what is Ohio State football worth? $1 billion?
At least. I would say about 3 or 4 billion.
3 or 4 billion.
That's what I would guess. That's how big of a program that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Ohio State, Michigan, Texas.
If I had to guess, if
Alabama?
you were to get Ohio State versus the Broncos, which was a $5.5 billion, obviously because of the media rights, whatever, who would have more passion? It's Ohio State.
I would rather own Ohio State than half the NFL teams, personally.
Ohio State, Georgia's a
Alabama,
big one. Alabama,
Texas, Michigan. These are schools.
There's like 10 schools that are probably worth 3 to 4 billion. If you were to like think about their cash
Media
flow.
rights.
We got to move on to high school. That's the untapped market.
I know. We should actually just why you know, I bet you this is not a bad business model. ESPN has locked up fucking high school football rights for these big games, right?
Yeah.
They're paying probably dog shit money.
Yeah.
Private equity should go in there. We should raise money and just lock up Texas high school football.
And modern day.
Right.
Yeah, go
St. Bosco.
Go lock it up at a school level. We want to televise your games. Here's 10 grand. What would the school take? 10 grand? 25 grand?
I mean, where I'm from,
And
there's like movies about it. And shit, I forget what the movie's called, but like Maslin High
Friday Night
School.
Lights.
Yeah. Like Maslin High School. And like, it's like a cult. It's a,
That's what I'm saying. We should just lock up the TV rights for high school football.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we should do that.
Roll up.
Do you have any P guys?
I would watch high school football on
Well,
Friday.
you said you did.
I did.
but there's
If-
got to
if
be
I
a
knew-
block, right? There's got to be something blocking it. You would think this
I
would
don't
have been
think anything.
I
It's
think
just
people just-
distribution.
I think people would just think, yeah, stream it. It's fucking YouTube it. Fucking who
put it on
cares?
Rumble.
Yeah, exactly.
You can put it on YouTube and you'd be fine.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if you made it easy to consume, like, if I knew the number one quarterback in the country is going to be on at 7:30 on Friday night, I'm fucking tuning in.
I would love to see Cole Leinart play.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to see.
Yeah, I would just search for famous football players' kids and just watch them.
We got it. This is how we become billionaires, guys.
I think high school football is worth $1 billion.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah. Easy. I think you would find in like 10 years, you'd be like, oh, fuck, it was worth 100 billion.
So I'm going to tell you because we're still on the football.
All right, then we got to lock up elementary school.
Right? Pop Warner.
The last football.
6-year-olds.
So I don't know if you've noticed they have the joint practices with the different teams. So they're
In
not
NFL?
televised. Yeah, the NFL. So like the Lions play, the Packers, whatever. I'm making
Right.
these team names up, but whatever. It's like a thing now. If they sell those TV rights, think about the
Right.
cash flow they would get. I would
Right.
watch it.
For what?
Joint practices. Put it on TV. Put it on.
I think high school football is worth more than joint practices.
But everyone's fighting in the joint practices.
Fine.
That's why everyone loves it.
Part
Yeah,
of high
both
school
are
football,
valuable,
we should
yeah.
just allow fighting.
Yeah.
You're the two
Those
fights a
kids
game.
are fighting. Those kids are fighting their fucking asses off.
If we could
They have
see what
nothing to
happens in the
lose, those
parking lot
kids.
after a high school
Yeah.
football game,
That's where
people
all
would
the
watch.
fights happen.
Yeah, shootings, fightings. There was a shooting after the Granada Hills high school football
I
game.
was there.
Right.
On Friday?
No. I'm saying
Last Friday.
I'm saying 20 years ago.
I'm talking last Friday. Last Friday there was a shooting. People would watch that.
Right. Yeah, those kids haven't
All right.
learned like media training yet. You know what I mean? They're fucking. It's
Man,
like a hockey
how do you
game
feel
out
about
there.
the loss? Man, I'm going to beat his ass after this
Right.
game.
Exactly. That's must watch TV.
All right, so we have a business idea. Who wants to fund it?
There we go.
DM us.
I'm
I don't
sure
think
one
you
of
need
the
much
listeners-
cash. I think 100K, you're wrapping up the top 10 schools.
You think so?
Who's offering them money for this?
Right.
Dude,
There's no-
20 grand, 10 grand for a high school football team is a lot of money.
Yeah.
There's high school football coaches that listen. Ask your principal. How much does this sell you football? I get you fucking snacks after the game and walk like a shitty school.
Some jerseys.
I don't know Texas football, but I know the schools that matter in California.
Yeah.
So we can ask Modern Day.
Go to a bunch of high schools in Southern California and be like, we want to offer the TV rights. We're going to lock it up.
But then where do we distribute? YouTube?
Right now, we just lock it up. It's a lockup play.
Right.
We
Then
signed
you
10-year
package
deals
it.
with these people.
You package that and go put it on the market. Woo.
Yeah, if you go get the top 25 schools, lock them in, then go get distribution. Go to Netflix and say, look, we want to call it Friday Night Lights. We're going to have fucking Booby Miles be the announcer.
And then you make them personalities like Hard Knocks.
We literally get the guys from Friday Night. James Vanderbeek can fucking be the commentator.
But the beauty of Hard Knocks is the production, right? It doesn't matter what the team is. It always is interesting.
We're not spending money on production. I'm a fat
All
cat
we wanna
owner.
do is
My lifestyle is going to be all over this. I'm jetting on a high school jet.
Right. Just jetting from high school to high school. Oh my God. Okay.
right.
Do we want to move on?
Yeah. Obscene fucking.
I feel like football is going to be. Oh, yeah. The other thing I wanted to add is that even in my golf life, golfing tee times become much easier to get on Sundays.
Yeah.
Starting very soon.
Of course.
So, okay. How about this? Gen Z. We've talked a lot about them. Everybody's talking about them. I think everyone's really talking about them because, they are like the iPad kids.
They're the next. They're next.
Well, they're next, but they're also like the kids that were truly, purely raised like in the social media era. Apparently, they are very unhappy.
Yeah.
So
Shocking.
So we've heard a lot about, the effects of social media, depression, loneliness, anxiety, bullying, all of that stuff. But apparently also, as you would imagine, they're concerned about their financial future, their ability to ever buy a home. I think climate change, is the whole world going to melt? There's a lot on their plate. World War III.
There's like a official world happiness report that's been going on for 20 years. And it's the first time the US fell out of the top 20 to number 23 in the 20 years they've been doing this. And so I think that's the reason why this is kind of surprising.
Right.
I think like happiness is a very like relative term, because if you just ask someone that, are you happy? Then it's a tough gauge, but like, are you happy compared to someone in Ukraine?
Right.
Are you, I think like you have to like, it's an interesting thing to just generally.
To me, I feel like it's more of like a measure of hope.
Yeah, I agree. That I think is definitely the case. And, I've had a lot of interesting conversations just in our office with a few folks around like, and they listen to the podcast. So we were talking about the kind of the politics of the pod the last couple of weeks. And,
where do they stand? They want the polygraph.
Oh yeah. Everyone wants the polygraph.
Everybody wants the polygraph.
Yeah. You made an assumption today in the fantasy football chat. Someone was liberal and it was not.
Yeah. This is actually a good story. We won't say the name. He's a pretty famous dude in our fantasy football chat.
Yeah.
And I assumed, given what you see, the clips of him on social.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of that.
And I was like, I assume he's liberal.
Yep.
And then he said,
sorry to disappoint you.
Sorry to disappoint you.
Yep.
USA, baby.
Okay, look, I'll be quick. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole. I think my prediction is there's a lot more of that than we realize.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people like, yes, it's a little bit more acceptable to be a Trump supporter now, but I think there's still a shit ton of people that are in the closet.
And this is the person, I'll tell you off air. If you saw his persona,
right,
you would never think this is even possible.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of people.
I think we're all pretending.
You're pretending you won't take a polygraph. You are one of them.
You're more, you're right wing. You want to portray this image of a wokey.
No, that's not true.
Yeah. Well, then take the poly.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, happiness.
You can't beat the poly.
Right.
But I think
we have breaking news. Nvidia earnings.
They beat on everything. The stock's down.
Yes.
So let's get to that in a second. But I think the interesting thing about this, and what I was talking about with people in the office is America, and this is a lot of people are discussing this publicly. Like America feels like at the later stage of an empire ending. Right. Like,
I mean, that's what everyone says.
Yeah. Yes. Right. Like, and if you look from a history standpoint, how long have most empires lasted? The longest, I don't know, like,
So I think
like we've now kind of gotten so gluttonous and so full of ourselves as a country and our expectations are skewed, and we are not able. America's biggest problem is America can no longer deliver the American dream to the average person.
So I actually think about it differently. I think the stages of empires are, and I've seen a ton of people on Rogan talk about this in drama. I'm sure you have as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically like you spend, hundreds of years to try to get economic
Prosperity.
prosperity and economic stability. And then you get into culture wars, which is where we're at now. So as much as people want to complain about America, we have economic stability. There's no breadlines. Like, for the most part, most people are fine. Now we've gotten to the
there.
Yeah. What is her name?
Kamala. I said it right.
Okay. and then we get into culture wars, which is where we're at now.
Right.
And then that's when societies start to unravel.
I think the culture wars stems from
It's a function of you no longer have to worry about getting bread. So now you have to worry about something else.
No, sure. I think the bigger problem is the reason why Gen Z or even, millennials are disappointed. If they look at their parents, the likelihood of them having the life their parents had is going to be very challenging. And the main things of that are, will you get to buy a home? That's number one. And it doesn't matter to you, but it matters to everybody else. Owning a home is incredibly important in the checking the box of the American dream. And so the problem is, if you make $150,000, which is a lot of money, and you live in Los Angeles, you will never own a home.
So I have an alternative view on why Gen Z polls this way, because it's acceptable to be unhappy. Whereas 25 years ago, when we were, quote unquote, the equivalent of Gen Z, you just had to figure it out.
Right.
So I think it pulls kind of skewed, because now you're allowed to complain. You're allowed to say you're sad. You're allowed to say you're unhappy. And I'm not saying that's wrong.
Right.
But my point is, we weren't allowed to do that 25 years ago. It was like, go figure it out.
I have a similar but slightly different take. We all have different takes. My take is that it's not actually factually, is the American dream any more gone than it's ever been? It's not. I haven't seen a fact that has showed me that. Yes, right now, because of interest rates and housing prices.
Yes,
yeah, but I think that you have to you have to kind of be optimistic.
You have to adjust your expectation.
I also think you have to be optimistic about, is it a weird time of high interest rates and low home supply, or is this forever? I think when it comes to making money,
so if you just do the math,
right,
wages have not kept up with home prices, right? Like they just haven't. That's factually the case. Right. And so home prices have to correct so much that it actually becomes affordable again. So are home prices coming down 30, 40%?
No,
probably not, because all the people that have these low interest rates are never going to sell their homes.
And are they going up 40, 50%? No.
Yeah, I just think this is an abstract argument, but I think that the ability to jump wage categories has never been easier. Like your access to other ways of making income, your access to other ways of education, your access to all of these things has never been easier. So yes, even though it might be true that wages have not kept up with home prices, there's this other hard to track statistic. I don't know. I'm just around so many people, and maybe I'm also incredibly biased, but that have started little businesses or started a thing or learned how to do better at their current job and therefore moved up because they have more access to information.
I think society will adjust because we're capitalists at the end of the day, and we will adjust, and some costs will come down. People will figure out how to make more money. I do think that's possible. I think the challenge is there are some scary things being proposed by politicians that are very socialist principles that will kill a lot of that dream that people have, like the tax plan that is now confirmed by Harris that you said was bullshit, it's confirmed. Harris's team is now confirmed that is the tax plan they are proposing.
I gotta Google that.
Yeah, they're on TV confirming it now.
Who's confirming it?
Her economic advisor was on Fox today confirming it.
I just want to add that my take is actually not what I said, but leading up to, I think it's like comparison is more readily available than ever before. And I think when you're just on social media and you see everyone appearing to do so well, like you used to compare yourself to your neighbor and the other kids in the neighborhood. And I think by that comparison, things are really great. But I think by the comparison of someone who blew up from saying everything's demure on TikTok and now they make $500,000 this month, I think it's
I don't know if you guys saw this crazy story of a family in the Hamptons. The husband committed suicide because he attempted suicide and ended up dying in the hospital after. Mm-hmm. And it was all because his family was trying to keep up with the Joneses on another level. Right. Like they had an $8 million house in the Hamptons and fancy cars, and their social circle was the who's who of New York City and Bezos type people. And like when you, and on Instagram, it looked like they were the perfect family, rich, good looking, and everything was great. And then privately, this poor guy was trying to keep up. And then he obviously, the sad part about it is like, we all know that, like, specifically America, when you struggle, you can actually get, Donald Trump is the one good example of that, is that you can lose fucking everything and come back. Right. And I think a lot of people have lost everything and came back in America. It is possible to lose everything and come back. And to see like this poor guy felt like he had no other option than this is so fucking sad and tragic. He had 2 kids and all that stuff. And I think social media, adds to the pressure for someone like that, where they're like, I can no longer portray this lifestyle, because before you were portraying that lifestyle to 50 people, right? 100 people max. Nobody knows anyone outside of their town when we were growing up. Did we know anyone outside of the 50 people? Oh, no. They're doctors. They have money. And that was all the information we knew. Now if you choose to be public, people have that expectation of that's what you are doing all the time.
Plus, think about how healthy it was to in my town too, there was the rich people, they were doctors or whatever. And you just know in your head, a doctor, he went to college for a very long time. He did blah, blah, blah. And now he's
I don't want to do that.
55. Right. Now he's 55 and he has a boat, sick. Where now it's what? This girl did a signature dance on TikTok and now she's a millionaire and I'm just sitting here a fucking ugly loser, and I'm not saying they're ugly. I'm saying they feel that way. I'm like, it's so, I think that is something that can't be understated.
I think I want to address 2 things. So the TikTok boom seems to be over in terms of all those young kids that everyone thought were going to be the biggest brands. I don't think they're relevant anymore.
No, there's new kids.
Yeah, there's new kids.
No, I'm saying the ones from 2020,
but that's just
21.
It's athletes, right? The same football. When you look at your fantasy team and you look like who we were bidding on 3 years ago, none of them are even available anymore.
I'd say Charlie D'Amelio, they had a show. They have a show on Hulu that does really well. They do well. Addison Rae's has a record deal and putting out records now. I think it's following the normal.
It's literally single digit.
What?
Yeah, but that's
under 5.
That's normal though.
Yeah, but then there's new ones who are now the next generation of maybe, making a lot of money. I think it follows. Social media tends to do that. Who's around from the Vine days? Logan and Jake Paul.
Yeah.
I think it slowly weeds out. And I think there's a few from that first generation who are making millions of dollars a year and living in houses in Beverly Hills. And I think there's a whole new generation. I think it's still happening is what I'm saying. I think it's still in the middle of it. And I think these kids are seeing a new person get rich if you're a young male
and you see someone like Speed, who's 19 years old.
Right. Or Kai Cenat.
Kai Cenat, and these kids are like,
Yeah, what do you think their half-life is?
I don't think there is a half. I think it's so long. Speed has 30 million
So you think in
subscribers.
5 years they're still relevant?
Yes, because it's long form content.
They also have to be like I think the unique thing about Logan and Jake is they didn't succumb to the pressure when everyone wanted to take them down. And
I think they did. They had their documentary. They were like depressed.
I know, but that was probably to sell the documentary.
It was fake depressed.
I think they're just natural born entertainers. Like they really live it and need it. And that's what you have to be. If you're if you're an actor, if you're anything from the old school, if you're an artist, you gotta really need to entertain and you gotta be good at it.
I think they're unicorns. Logan and Jake.
I think
every generation, there's a couple unicorns. Like in
I think
Kai
Speed
Cenat
and
is
Kai
probably a
Cenat.
unicorn. But Kai Cenat, I'll give you an example. They were streaming, I don't know where, in Atlanta, I think, in their house. And then they're like, oh, fuck it, we're moving to New York. And then on YouTube, they put, here's a tour of our $30 million New York penthouse that we all just moved into, like the homies all in sweats, streaming on a fucking computer and jumping on the beds. And like as a kid, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
You know, I'm here in this $200,000 house in Minnesota, and this guy, I'm funny. He's funny. I don't know.
It's almost similar to kids thinking they can become professional athletes.
No, I don't think it is at all.
No, because you
the
still have to
pathway-
respect what they're doing.
We're
and how-
talking about like, I respect what Kai Cenat's doing.
No.
I
I'm
100%
saying,
too.
No,
I'm saying when you're a kid and you look at LeBron James, you're like, fuck, I'm not doing that.
There's a
when you're Kai
physical
Cenat-
thing when you look at those. The reason why like kids love Messi, I figured it out.
And Steph Curry.
Yeah, because they're little guys. Messi is a little dude. When you look at Messi, you're just like, oh, if I'm like my son, he's now obsessed with Messi. We watched a couple games, and I'm like, why doesn't he like LeBron?
Right.
He looks at LeBron. He's like, I don't
buff.
look like that kid.
Yeah.
But you look
Well, you
at
watch
Messi,
Kai
and you're like,
Cenat, you're like, well, I have a ring light and a fucking webcam. My friends tell me I'm funny. Why don't I live in a $30 million
I actually
house?
think it's foolish for kids. It's this, but I'm saying the odds are the same.
no, the odds are way higher.
for athletes.
No, I'm saying
I think
you being like
streamer.
a star athlete at
I think
14.
Well, yeah, we're not
and
talking about Kai
trying to be a
Cenat
live
and-
streamer.
Well, if
I'm
you're
saying
talking
there's
about
only,
Kai
like-
Cenat, there's very few. But if you're
I know,
like,
I'm saying, can you make a living
No,
being a
there's
content creator?
There's an
Yeah.
article that came out like I think a week ago that like 90% of the content creators make less than $40,000.
I know, but I'm saying, if, what's an average salary in America? 50, 60,000 or whatever it is, 40,000. But I'm saying is, if you're content with making content and that gives you happiness and you make 50 grand a year, that might be a win for you as
that's
a
more
kid.
attainable than an athlete, yes. But to
Yes.
become Kai Cenat or Speed or whatever is
impossible. That's
arguably less
impossible.
Aiden
attainable.
Ross, yeah.
Yeah, I
any
mean,
of those
these guys make more money than
they
almost
make
every
15
athlete.
million a year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I think the interesting thing is that
Like the poor quarterbacks are getting their ass.
Brock
getting
Purdy makes
CTE.
like 250 grand a year,
Right.
and he's a quarterback for the Niners.
Right.
And
Which is probably a $10 billion franchise as well.
Speed makes that a day.
Yeah.
But not to mention all the people, even all the people, I think the most harmful thing is all the people that are lying. Like, think about the amount of people that are like, yeah, I'm an entrepreneur and here's my Lambo on social
Yeah.
media. And you know that they're not, and they're not making any money. But the perception is, damn, everyone my age is getting rich and moving to LA and doing all this shit. And I'm stuck here being asked to do extra shifts at Starbucks. My life must be fucking miserable. But if you could only compare yourself to everyone you went to high school with, your life's great.
Yeah, I agree.
That's my idea. I don't think, and also I do think that it is becoming more popular, kind of to your point on him, but a little different. Like, it's becoming popular to complain and not like rich people and talk about everything that's wrong. Like, if you make a YouTube video about everything that's wrong with the system, like, people will rally around it and they like it. And that's just popular right now. And I think that leads you nowhere but unhappy, because you don't end up becoming successful and you don't end up solving the world's problems. And so you're just an unhappy Gen Zer, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, in 2008, just personal story for D and I, this is right before Reckless started.
Yeah.
Our business was on the teetering of bankruptcy every 2 weeks.
Yep. And then drama
And-
swooped in with the cash machine.
Yeah.
You did. But my point is, we didn't complain to anyone.
Right. And you didn't show it because I thought you guys were doing great. You were partying, you were going to Vegas. I mean, shit.
Well, you gotta have fun.
Yeah. You guys definitely you gave off success.
But the point is, we didn't complain to anyone. I didn't call my mom complaining.
Right.
I didn't call my dad complaining. I assumed he didn't either.
Right.
Yeah.
We just dealt with it.
Yeah.
And I think that what else you didn't do though is you didn't look on Instagram every day at the people similar to you who were apparently crushing it.
Yeah. I don't think
Right.
it existed.
Right.
I think Instagram started in 2007.
Yeah. But
And
like
I'm not-
no
so
one
I'm
was
not-
on it.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming it all on social media. And I do think like the housing and wage and like that definitely has something to do with it for sure. But I think what makes it so hard is like you guys could probably go talk to other people who would also tell you how tough their business is. And it just was a little bit more like based around reality as opposed to having the perception that everyone else was killing it and you guys must be losers. And I think that's a rough pill to, I mean, look, failing is hard enough as it is, but on top of that, thinking that you're the outlier and everyone else is winning. I mean, of course you're going to be unhappy on your little poll or whoever's calling you to get this data.
Yeah.
Yep. Makes sense.
All right. You want to know who should be unhappy? The CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch.
Man, they were
They've
just
been crushing
on
it.
fire.
Right.
Yeah. I think you're finally seeing, there's been a lot of earnings reports where, companies have performed pretty well. But even though Abercrombie actually beat expectations of revenue, beat expectation of profit, they grew 21% in the quarter, which is just insane considering like macro. Mm-hmm. And what they did say that the remaining, months of the year feel uncertain. And that basically spooked investors and prices went down of the stock. So I think there's clearly signs that these big retailers are seeing that have caused some of these CEOs to report that, hey, we did have a good first 6 months, but shit's slowing down quickly. And then simultaneously, Target, who also had really good earnings, is actually crediting one of the reasons why is that they had lower inventory shrink because they started closing their stores in those crime-ridden areas.
Right.
And that has actually helped their profitability. And they think that is the secret to some of their inventory shrink, that it's so concentrated in these cities that'll have these weird laws that they're just, because it's organized crime at this point. It's not,
right.
It's clearly not individuals just doing it. It's literally people, like I'm hearing in some malls have trouble getting insurance because they house luxury stores because there's so much organized. 8 people walk in, steal things. And then, the retailer goes to the mall and says, hey, you owe me. You promised security for this.
You know what I learned is one of our friends couldn't get insurance on his home, like for his valuables in his home, unless he got a safe that was approved by the insurance company that had to be craned into his home and bolted to the ground.
Yeah.
A regular safe would not, they wouldn't insure it.
Yeah.
Similar.
What part of area was this?
Very nice. Your area.
Yeah. So, and I think, and I think it's clear because insurance will be an issue. The cost, look, this is a staggering number. Inventory shrink reported by the National Retail Federation. It's the NRF. That's a huge kind of retail group. In 2022, saw an increase of $20 billion over the previous year. So that's in itself is up 25% in one fucking year because of these law changes. This is going to. Here's what the capital markets and businesses do. They're not in the business of doing good and feeling good. They're in the business of making money. So all that happens is in locations where there's high crime, stores will get shut. Simple. Right. And then that city will just have to make the bet that there's still demand from retailers that are willing to open. And what reality is, it's gone. These motherfuckers are going to leave and they're never coming back. No one wants to operate a retail store that is ridden with crime. Like we thought e-com was going to damage retail. Laws are damaging it faster.
Right.
I agree with that.
That's what I'm saying when I say, I know we talked a couple episodes ago about like the data of police reports and stuff like this, but this stuff is like undeniable. And I just don't understand. I know there's no answer to this, but like, how do you see this happening in your city? You see stores moving out, you see these earnings reports and these things being mentioned, and you just keep cruising along with the same policy.
Yeah.
It feels like it like drives me nuts. Like as if like, okay, just tell me the truth then. Like, are you trying to ruin cities? Is there, what is like, no one's this dumb.
Yeah. I mean, maybe the play could be, I think there is you have to think of what's the conspiracy,
right?
Like, let's say you funded all the DAs to destroy every major city. And then what's the play? Buy up all the real estate, change the politicians and increase the value. That's a good one. I like that one.
That's a good conspiracy, but I actually have a different take on why all these, like if you go in Beverly Hills, you go to West Hollywood, everything's for lease.
Right.
Like, and I know you said North Hollywood, same, and Hollywood as well.
Right. Right.
The owners of the buildings have made so much money, and typically they're generational. I know,
but we're talking about theft. These retailers are telling you the truth.
I know. I'm just saying separately.
That's a small business retail. I'm talking big Target, Walmart. They're closing, not because business is not good.
They don't own the real estate,
but they don't care.
They probably negotiated, and the landlord probably said, "We're good." Leave.
No, I think when you lose $20 billion,
still doesn't address the core problem. The core problem is why is theft so up and no one's doing anything about it?
Publicly traded CEOs.
It's clearly white theft. If you steal less than 900, you don't go to jail.
Right. Yeah. So then the next question is why
it's not the landlord the thing.
I'm saying there's two different things.
I think
restaurants is what I'm talking about. Is why all the restaurants are going out of business because they're like, we're not playing ball. We've made so much money on our real estate.
Yeah,
and we don't care.
But the restaurant, the other element that you forget, in California, we made minimum wage extremely fucking high.
Yeah.
So it's impossible for
But the landlord's not playing ball on rent.
Why should the landlord play
because
ball?
They've made so much money off the real estate.
No, but they have a loan at a certain rent.
They're all paid off. You know who the families that own all these places?
Not all of them. They keep refining. No one pays off everything. You know they keep these loans. They'll bankrupt the property. They don't give a shit. That's just how it works.
We're going down the rabbit hole of the wrong topic, though. Like, I think what I'm saying is, okay, obviously theft is way up. It is now causing stores to close. That makes the quality of life in your city worse. Why on God's green earth is there no reaction? D's conspiracy theory makes sense. That checks out.
Yeah.
That could be the Soros play. He's just going to own fucking
you think
Minneapolis.
Alex Soros?
He's taking Dad's playbook.
Maybe. Yeah, why not? Maybe he's backing a bunch of secret real estate purchases. Watch, like, are you going to really let LA burn to the ground with these dumbass laws? No, it's stupid. It's going to change.
But you could get really close, buy it up, and then own LA.
Yeah. You buy a bunch of like distressed real estate that in one of the most desirable places to live on earth. The laws are stupid. No one thinks they're good. Fucking zero people who live in the city think they're good.
But do you think Gascon goes to bed at night and is like, it's working?
Yeah.
Just 5 more years.
But his intention could be chaos. He's like, I want to fuck with the city.
He's like the Joker.
He's the Joker.
That's my question. If he's the Joker, it all makes sense to me, and at least I can stop thinking about it. Yeah. But like, if you're not the Joker, then what the fuck is your plan? What do you go to bed at night saying is working?
So I think I don't know. Are stores closing in the valley like CVS's and Walgreens?
If there's crime,
I'm just curious. I don't know if they are. I know they're closing over here.
Yeah, I mean, here you're not going to have a drugstore to get anything here.
Right.
But the
It's
issue
a good Amazon
is
play.
Amazon's backing all the DAs.
Yeah.
That's a good
Fuck
one.
up all
I like
the
that conspiracy.
Retail.
But my point is, if in the valley, which is 6 million people, I believe, and LA's 12 million, so it's like half the city.
yeah.
If the crime is as rampant there as it is kind of around where we all live, things will change.
Well, we know
'Cause they will vote
Encino
differently.
is home invasion.
Encino's getting robbed.
Encino's just
Robbed. Everyone's robbed. There's nothing left. They
That's
took
right.
everything.
Here's my question. I
How'd
think I
they
asked this
know
on the
all
pod,
that?
but like,
How'd they
where's
know
all
all
this?
What are you talking about? It's
all the
public.
celebs
Open
went
the
to
LA
Encino?
Times. They
it's
tell you
Instagram.
so and so just bought a $9 million house in Encino.
Right.
Boom. Thank you.
Right.
They should ban those real estate fucking.
I think I told you
companies.
another friend of ours bought a very expensive item. The place where he bought it from posted congratulations
Yeah,
to this
you
person for
told us,
buying it.
yeah.
The next day they broke into his house to get it. So if you buy, you're driving around in your car, you're posting that you're on vacation. Apparently there's people in nightlife that are, collaborating.
That's definitely true. Yeah.
Right. And
But that was happening before COVID.
Right. But now
We know
it's
that.
just the spigot is
We
on
know
full
plenty
blast.
of people that got robbed because of a promoter
We do.
leaking.
But imagine those people, and now all of a sudden they just turned on the spigot, and you're like, oh fuck, we just happen to be in the right business.
Yeah.
It's like your friend that you were saying, wasn't it one of your friends you were saying was in like the energy business, and then all of a sudden Inflation Reduction Act, and it was just, or was that on? Oh, that was on the All In pod. They said they had a friend in like energy, and then the Inflation Reduction Act just caused like a mountain of cash to just be dropped on their industry. And that's what it was like for home invaders.
Yeah. Like, you're really just going to let us steal? Thanks.
Right. It's just madness. I don't know, man. Anyway, moving on. Do we have NVIDIA info?
Yeah. So the earnings came out. They crushed on revenue, grew 122%, of $30 billion. They expect revenue in the current quarter to be 32 billion versus 31. Earnings came in, it doubled from last year to over doubled, $16.6 billion of profit. And the stock is down.
How much?
And I think it was really good, and they had very, very high expectations of it being really good. But I think it needed to be way better than that in order for the stock to go up.
Right.
Stock could still be up tomorrow, depending on what happens in the market. But I think it's great. It's really good. And I think what it does is justify the valuation for now.
Yeah,
it's still
success is
trading
already
at.
priced in, so to speak.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
like it's if you run rate the earnings at 64 billion, this is $3 trillion company. You're probably trading 45x earnings.
No, you're trading 40x revenue.
No, 66 billion of profit over the next 12 months.
Yeah, but look at the revenue. They're still 40x at 3 trillion.
No, they did 32 billion in this quarter.
So 100 billion, they're 3 trillion.
I know, but
That's 30x.
I know, but they're only 45x profit. That's not a lot.
Sure. I think people are just pricing in.
I think
Yeah.
they could still go to 200. I think 5 trillion still, in my view. If you actually believe in AI, there's no other company to invest in.
I had a poll in my tech chat if Nvidia will trade lower in 5 years than today's price, then and everyone said yes. And they're all pretty dialed in tech.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense. That would make logical sense. More competitors, it exploded so
Commoditized
quickly.
the cost, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I'll
who
tell
knows?
you from when I was talking to someone on our team, and they were saying our OpenAI cost as a company has gone down just in the last 2 weeks, like 50%, because Google and all these other companies are like
Trying to poach.
yeah. So OpenAI has to cut pricing. So I think our costs went down 50% in 1 week. So, it's really tough. All this is going to be pretty commoditized, these models, and it'll be really hard to forget. And no one new is going to enter it. It's only going to be the big getting bigger, and everyone else can build stuff on top of it. Great. But the actual models are going to be owned by these big companies.
The big question is Apple. I mean, Apple has their big thing next month, their big reveal.
I think so. I have an iPhone 13.
Wow.
My phone's kind of cracked now.
Very frugal.
It feels tired.
Yeah.
The phone.
Little slow.
Like it's really working hard
Right.
to like go from app to app.
Yeah.
So I'm going to invest in a new phone.
Are you waiting till the new launch?
Yeah, because September 9th, and you'll probably get the phone, if I order online within 2 weeks of that. So let's say by the end of September. So I have to last another month.
But think about that. You waited 3 versions, right?
Yeah. 3 years. Is that 3 years?
Because I'm on
Not good for
14
Apple.
and I think there's 15. What are you on? I'm on 14.
I think 15.
We're 15 now. That's the
15.
current
So 2.
I have the newest.
You missed 2
cycles.
launches. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not
They're
good
too
for
expensive.
Apple.
It's too expensive. And
But also too expensive. You're a guy that, you can put that on the company. You have, how much money have you raised?
Yeah,
You
exactly.
can't be bothered.
But by the way,
Can I
there's
put
nothing.
my new phone on the company?
You don't work for us.
I'm an investor.
Investors don't get to do that. This isn't the NFL.
I'm Jerry Jones, bitch.
What's interesting about it, like as I talk about the price, there's nothing I spend more time on than my phone.
Right.
Nothing.
It's actually
I
absurd.
spend nine hours a day.
The fact that you don't
So
take
you should be buying every new phone.
I should be buying every new phone. It's stupid not to. The problem is the features of these new phones are not enough for me to like make the effort.
It's really the hassle of switching over.
Yes.
There's a quote.
That's
One of my best friends, Ken, who you guys both know. If you're not in your shoes, you're in your bed. So don't get cheap on your shoes or your bed.
right.
Yeah.
But your phone is even more than both of those.
Exactly.
I bet your screen time's higher than your sleep time. D.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You're
Way
not sleeping 9 hours.
No way. I slept 5.5 hours last night.
Right.
And I mean, I was on my phone for 9.
So now that's the new.
Phone
you should add
shoes
to
in bed. Yeah.
We should add phone shoes in bed.
Yeah.
yeah.
You're fucking walking in some old Chuck Taylors over there with your iPhone 13. All right, D. What do you got? Who's your winner for the last week?
My winner for the last week, just because it's just full, I'm going all football here.
Okay.
We saw the ratings. Hard Knocks is out. We got NFL going in. Like there is a shift among the men in America when football comes.
Right.
I feel like the mood of America, happiness of America will increase dramatically by next week.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think you're totally right.
Why?
It's also just like the time it takes
Are
up.
they? They
Why?
might
They
not
just-
be.
Some.
We're out of their way. We're focused.
But you're not
I
participating.
don't know if you guys saw this meme of a guy that basically wrote a letter to his wife where he said, like, I'm resigning from all responsibilities in life for the next 4 months. I'll see.
Right.
Do you think that went well?
Yeah. I mean, I'd say it's a mixed bag on good for the wives or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just good it's good to have something to focus on. It's also something good, I feel like, to like, you can argue and talk shit with your friends, not about politics.
Yes.
Very
I mean,
healthy.
football is just so like, even yesterday, we all sat for 2.5, 3 hours or whatever it was and just literally only talked about football.
Yeah, no one mentioned politics. No one
Nothing.
mentioned
Not even a
anything.
restaurant, nothing. Just football.
That's nice. Yeah. That's really nice. Okay. Well, congratulations. I'm very happy for both of you. I have FOMO. I'll be golfing. The good news for me is Sunday tee times are much easier and it should be great for my in-person podding because I should be able to get nice early tea times.
It's good.
Everyone wins.
Yep, everyone wins. Anand, who's your winner?
It's in the same thread. College football this weekend. There's blockbuster games.
It's like 60 games.
Yeah. And
Right.
D and I are actually both going to be going to the USC LSU game on Sunday night in Las Vegas.
I don't even have tickets. I get tickets.
Oh, that's why you guys are going there?
yeah,
Like
for
a
USC.
family trip? Are you taking the kids?
I'm taking the kids. Yeah.
I'm going solo.
Got it. That's good.
But why don't you just ask?
I've asked a lot of people.
D's not good at this.
What?
I'll get tickets. I'm not worried.
Oh, for tickets. Yeah, he goes, this is what he does every time.
Yeah. They're going to fall into my lap.
Yeah.
They will. And anyways, there's like so many marquee games, and I can't wait to see the ratings on Monday morning.
Right.
And there's a Monday night game. Florida State plays Monday night against BC.
I mean, 100 million people will be watching college football this week.
And then Thursday night is Ravens Chiefs.
That
That might have 35 million viewers.
they should make NFL tied to voting, where if you vote, you get to watch NFL. What'd you have? Everyone would vote?
Yeah. Everybody.
But I still don't get why movie theaters don't just.
There's rights. It costs a lot of money to display the game. So there's new thing that's happening in this COSM, whatever it's called. So it's in two locations,
soccer, right?
They're doing soccer. I know some people that went to watch some soccer, like European Premier League game. They said it was blockbuster. Everyone's getting hammered. It's big screen. I think that is going to happen. It's got to be a rights issue,
deal, right? Because like,
once we get the high school rights, we'll show high school games in
Right.
theaters.
it'll be slammed.
$2 to come watch a high school football game.
I'm telling you.
Dom would go watch.
Yeah,
We're
why not? It's fun.
billionaires.
I think this is it.
Anand, you're going to have to explain to your people how you became one of the evil billionaires.
Yeah,
Port fees.
exploiting high school kids.
We're talking about port fee. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm going to be honest. I didn't prepare. I always forget this. I don't have a winner. So
okay.
I agree with you guys. Football, America. I mean, look, I know we're a nation in decline, but these NFL numbers say differently. And the fact that it's such an American only sport is so insane. And so props to America and the NFL. Big week. D, who's your loser?
My loser is this Harris Walsh tax plan.
Yeah.
I can't believe they would even put it out. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
That's it. Next.
Yeah, just next. Yeah, Anand, what's yours?
I don't have a loser. I
Right.
think I had a positive week. All this football, fantasy football drafts. I had 2 this week. I'm pretty happy.
What's your take on, as a rich Democrat, what's your take on, with a lot of unrealized gains?
It's not going to get passed. That's my take.
But why would they even put it out?
Like, is it just for the
They want to
for the-
get the populist movement going. It's the same shit that Trump talked about the wall. He didn't get the wall done.
Right.
There
But
is
so
a
you
wall,
think
though.
it's just to rally?
Yeah, it's just to rally people that
Right. Okay.
want more taxes and against
Nobody wants
wealthy
more
people.
taxes.
No, against wealthy people.
Yeah.
So it would basically be taxes above people who make $400,000, I believe.
Yeah.
Which is not the majority of the country, and you just do that for votes. And that's politics. Politics is dirty. The shit Trump says is insane, but he knows it resonates, and he knows he's never going to do any of it.
Yeah, I just don't want. I want to be clear that like Democrats always say they're like the moral party, but they're playing the same game. As long as everyone can accept
Of course,
that.
everyone knows that. No one thinks differently.
No, everyone says, oh, you always say, oh, I'm kind. That's why I'm a Democrat. I'm kind. You think every Republican's unkind?
I think many are.
Well, I could say many Democrats are unkind too.
Yeah, I think the Democrats
So
have
that's-
shown how fucking gnarly they are.
Yeah.
I think
Anyway, we could talk about this for an
whatever.
hour.
Yeah.
My loser. Yeah, I do have a loser now. My loser is Quentin Tarantino.
what
Because he
happened?
did this interview with Bill Maher, and look, once again, I'm not trying to jump into a political argument here, but he did say, like, who cares? Kamala should not be doing interviews. We need to just do whatever it takes to win. And if that means no interviews, no interviews. And I just think no matter what side you're on, that is an unacceptable stance. And I think he sounds a little cuckoo, but it's Quentin Tarantino. So
Yeah. That's fair.
anyway, he's my loser. D, content.
It's just
Any
football.
recommendations?
I recommend watching football this weekend, college football. And then it just got announced Lex Friedman is going to have Donald Trump on. Should be blockbuster
You
content.
think he'll do 8 hours?
I think he'll do 3.
Yeah.
I really am curious about the Rogan.
He's not going to do it.
I
Didn't
know,
he
I
say
hear
he
you,
wouldn't
but
do
he
it?
said he wouldn't do it. But I just feel like maybe things have changed. I will say, selfishly, I would love to hear it.
Oh, would be blockbuster.
The problem is when a politician, either side, so I'm not going to, they get told what they're allowed to talk about and what they're not allowed to, and Rogan's not going to agree to that.
Well, that's clear because the Peter Thiel situation was that with Rogan.
But also, Rogan
was
is not a
not-
gotcha guy. So maybe
He's not a gotcha guy, but I guarantee you, Peter Thiel's people didn't say you can't talk about
But
that.
listen,
bet you
D,
they did.
I want it now that I've finished that episode. I think you are out of your
listened to
mind.
like 2 Rogan
Yeah.
episodes in your entire
I
No,
life.
I
think
got some nice feedback that I'm right. He didn't ask me any tough
But
questions.
listen,
That's
this is
what
my
he
question.
does.
Don't you think like the amount of like pretty gnarly assumptions he made about Bill Gates and those things would have normally been off the table? Don't you feel like that was a big share?
That was a big one, but there's very specific things when you have this person there that are obvious things that people are curious
fair.
about.
That's fair, but
That's
when I
all.
heard the Bill Gates shit, I was like,
Yeah, that was a hot take. That was a good one.
But the thing, what Rogan does is he has a conversation. He doesn't want to make you feel uncomfortable. But if he thinks
So then why would Donald Trump be an issue?
If he thinks you're bullshitting you,
Yeah.
he'll come at you.
Yeah. Maybe.
That's what Rogan does.
I just have a
Wouldn't you agree?
feeling. I do, but I have a feeling that
He'll
Donald Trump
bring up Jamie. Jamie will be like, "No, you're wrong, Trump."
Right. I have a feeling that if you look at Trump's interviews, he doesn't try to get you. He doesn't try to get you into that place. He'll do it if it comes to that, but he doesn't try to do it. He doesn't look for a fight. And I think Trump would look at that and be like, I can handle this. Ask me whatever you want.
Yeah, I think he'd be fine on that. I think it's good.
He wouldn't be fine because of Jamie. Because Rogan look at
But I don't
Jamie
think-
and say,
I know, but it's that Rogan doesn't try to corner you with Jamie. It's only if you're just
"No, if Trump says some facts,
right.
he'll be like, Jamie, pull it up."
Right. But
And then
I don't
what's
think,
Trump gonna do?
I don't think Trump, like, what are some facts that Trump says that are so
Exactly. He doesn't say anything. You guys talk about Kamala.
Yeah, well, she has a tax plan that's out there. She has a tax plan out there that sucks. That's what she talks about.
Right. Okay, what are we on? Are we on Anand's content?
Content. Non-political.
Nice.
There's an investor named Gavin Baker that I follow on Twitter and I've heard him on podcasts. And I haven't listened to it yet, but it's on Invest Like the Best, which I love the podcast. And he's talking about AI, semiconductor chips, and I'm assuming it'll be pretty insightful. So I'm going to listen to it.
Love it. Okay, that's a really good one. Mine is Industry on HBO. Either of you guys watch it?
I watched season 1.
Very good.
I liked it. It lost me after a while. It just kind of.
Right.
It's a good show, though. It is a good show.
What's it about? I actually don't know
They're
anything about it.
investment. They're analysts
Are
at
they
an investment bank
bankers?
in
Oh,
London.
yeah.
In London.
I have seen
good.
it. Yeah.
You would
I
like
like
it
the
on
main
it.
girl.
It's very, yeah. And the new
What
season
season
just
is it now?
started.
Probably
Probably 3. But I feel like it was off. Like I was kind of a fan of it, but not like a super big fan. And then
Has it gotten better?
it's gotten better. And I also feel like it was off for so long that I kind of
Yeah.
forgot about it. And then it came up on
Yeah.
my recommended
Yeah,
and I was
I-
like, oh.
Yeah, I
Give this a
remember
try.
years ago.
It's probably a pretty old show at this point.
Yeah, or I wonder if like it maybe didn't do that well, but then they believed in it and bought another
I
season.
feel like it has like a weird cult following now.
Yeah.
Like probably just picked up.
It's like Suits. Suits was number 1 on Netflix for the last like 6 months.
and it was dead for years.
No one even
also-
watched it after.
Yeah, like the first season of it to me feels like you wouldn't like it unless you were in investment banking. Like it's
Yeah.
almost like too, it's like London and investment banking. It's like a little too dry. But anyway, I love it. New season is on currently. I think it comes out every Sunday or whatever. Very good.
I can tell you, London investment bankers can't hold their weight against U.S. investment bankers.
Right, because it's
Are
the
you an
fucking
American
US and we're the
exceptionalism?
best.
Yeah.
Man, we used to deal with
Fight.
Yeah.
we used to deal with when I in my 2 years, which is only 2 years,
Yeah.
over
Bunch of softies, bunch of
19
tea
years
drinking
old, they couldn't-
softies.
their models would be terrible. We'd have to correct them. It was
Yeah.
all shitty.
Okay.
That's America. Okay, shout outs.
3 shout outs. Let's get to it. All right. First one from Asa Sophia. Shout out to my girl, Sophia, future Mrs. Cohen, who is getting married to the best man in September, counting down the days to see her get married.
Woo.
All right. Congrats.
Congrats. Shout out
Big
to
wedding
Sophia.
in September.
Yep.
Next, from Daniel, my wife Dow is about to go 9 months prego and is expecting baby Park anytime now. Baby Park is a big group chat fan, been listening since 9 months ago.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Park's going to be a
Do we-
genius.
do we-
Baby Park must be a genius.
Yeah.
Can we
Yes.
add that to our analytics?
What? Another
Yep.
kid?
Yeah, that's why
someone
our
that-
numbers, our numbers are like the job report. They're a little funky.
Yeah. Sus.
There's 3 listeners here in one listen, in one
Yeah.
download.
Next from Amish, shout out to Pooja Shah, who lives in California, but went to school at BU. Go Terriers. Pooja Shah is a hard worker and family oriented and is looking for a man in finance, trust fund, 6'5", brown eyes, brown skin. And then from Anonymous, Amish. What's going on here?
I mean, come on. Yep.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that tweet about the number of people that are over 6 feet? Like every woman wants a guy over 6 feet.
Yeah.
And it's like single digit percentage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's no one.
Yeah, I've learned recently that this is like a huge issue
Yeah.
in the dating community. And
How tall are you?
He's tall.
6'1", baby.
Oh,
He's over.
Trust fund, brown eyes, finance,
white guy.
white dude. Yeah. So I
There's
guess
like a poll, right? Like
Yeah.
how many women want? Everyone wants a guy
6
over
foot
6.
makes 500K. Blah, blah, blah.
I
It's
mean,
like
come
there's 0
on. It's
people.
like, yeah,
like a unicorn.
Jesus.
You're getting 5'8" and has a fantasy football team.
I'm telling you, this is social.
5'8" overweight fantasy football
the
team.
CFO of
That's
the
if
fantasy
you
football team.
If you're a girl and that you could get your wrap your head around that this over the
You get
weekend.
married over the weekend.
You want to be happily married?
Yep.
Look for a 5'8"
Fantasy football
overweight.
owner.
Not super overweight, like 20 pounds.
20 pounds
20 pounds
overweight.
is nothing in today's day and age. That's
20 pounds overweight. Really nice guy.
yep.
Just wants to hang out on Sunday with the boys.
You're
And
engaged by
beer.
Monday.
You will literally live a life of bliss.
This is why, just like the Gen Zers who are so unhappy, it's just these expectations. Everyone wants 6'5", brown eyes in finance. And you should be looking for 5'8" with a fantasy football team.
Find a guy that's
5'8"
won a couple of years.
5'8",
Right.
chicken wings, and some Stellas.
Buffalo
You'll
Wild
win.
Wings, Stellas.
Yeah.
And the opposite of that, I have to shout out Drama. I saw him post those pull-ups. That was very impressive.
How many pull-ups?
6'5".
I don't know. He had like
Super buff.
weight on him.
Oh, wow.
What would you have? Like
Just
a
trying
25
to,
pound weight?
it's rough out here. I'm trying to make my way up the pole. I have 45 pounds. Admittedly, I could only do 4 or 5 of them, but I'm trying to work my way up.
So I just started strength training, and pull-ups are impossible. So when I saw
very
that,
hard.
I was like, holy shit,
Yeah.
this guy's got weight on him. And you did him the full length,
Yeah.
which
I'm
is
out
like
here.
the Good for
I'm
you,
working
Drummond.
hard.
I'm proud
Thank
of you.
on it. Thank you. It means
That's
a lot.
impressive.
And if you ever want to come work out, I would love to host you, you know?
Yeah.
I'm really starting to enjoy it. I feel like I'm
couldn't
becoming
do that.
right.
I couldn't do that. That's insane.
A fitness influencer?
No, like a jock. You know, like
Well,
I've always
golf.
like obviously
So
like
that's
growing up.
crossed off. Only pussies golf.
Right. Gym bro, maybe a gym bro.
Gym bro, yes.
Yeah.
A
Gym
jock, like you're playing,
Lacrosse.
or it's something like more aggressive.
No, gym
in
bro
the
is what I
sporty
meant.
way.
What I meant.
Yeah,
It's just growing
Yeah.
up skateboarding. Like you always hated the people who went to the gym and the athletes and whatever. And now I genuinely enjoy like
being a gym bro.
my gym bro and like my friends over there. And
What do
I don't
you
even-
rock? Gymshark now?
no, I need to look for a sponsorship deal.
I will say, I have a question for you, Drama, before we end. I know we're going long. Strength training to me is like pretty tough to do.
Right.
Like I don't enjoy it, but then at the end of it, I'm like, I'm happy I did it.
right.
Do you go in and like excited about it? Because when I go in, I'm like, fuck, I don't want to do this, but I just do it.
Yeah, I think the way that it just has changed over the last couple of years is I still know it's gonna suck. Like I'm not excited, so to speak, but like I'm so used to how good it feels after that makes me excited.
Got it. Yeah.
So
same.
I know it's gonna suck, but and then like look, you guys know me. I'm a relatively these days like I'm not asking to like film everything and whatever, but like when they're in there, like, oh, that was sick. That's sick. If you can do pull-ups with the thing, let me film it. And then you do it. And then people congratulate you, like it just adds to this. I don't know. It's just fun,
Yeah. No,
fun to make
totally.
progress on something.
It's tough. I'm not going to lie. Like I've only gotten new to strength training in the last couple months and
Right.
it's tough.
I will say my last thing is the studies continue to come in that it is so good for aging, for brain health, for blood flow.
And then I've seen doctors talk about when you do strength training, your rested metabolic rate rises.
Right.
So like if you just do cardio, like you're just done.
Yep.
But if you do strength training, it like carries out throughout the day.
Yeah, I think strength training always had a reputation as like a jockey, dumb guy. I'm not saying everyone has to go like try to become super buff. That's not what I'm doing either. But lifting weights, because apparently too, as you get older, like the big thing that fucks you up is like falling down or like not being able to, know. And so just having some muscle mass is
Even
good
if you have kids, picking up your kids,
Right,
Like
right,
you can
right.
throw at your back.
right. Okay.
All right. I love talking about strength training.
D, what do you think? Squats? Just kidding. Okay. Thank you guys. Everyone, thanks for listening. Have a great rest of your week. We'll see you Sunday or Monday. We'll see you Monday.